Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. Today, we got a show for you guys. I'm just going to get straight to the point because I'm already pissed off. So let me get into this topic here today. As y'all know, the Lakers yesterday, they played against the Golden State Warriors in Golden State for Game 2. Pretty pivotal game for the Golden State Warriors, a must-win game. They go into that game. I watched the game, and the Lakers were playing the Warriors pretty well in the first half, to be quite honest with you. And LeBron ended up getting really hot in the first half. He finished the first half with 21 points, and I think he hit about maybe 2 or 3 threes. I believe it was 3 threes he hit in the first half, and he hit this one crazy three-point shot when the shot clock was expiring off the glass. That was just absolutely insane. It was a crazy, crazy shot. But while that was going on, Klay Thompson and these guys were also cooking. They were also cooking, and Klay Thompson had 19 points in the first half, and he was ultra aggressive. I think he finished that game with either 7 or 8 threes or something like that. He was very, very aggressive all throughout that game. And at the beginning of the game, the Golden State Warriors made a fundamental adjustment, which is what happens in the playoffs. Not at Rucker Park on NBA 2K. In the playoffs, in the NBA, teams make adjustments. And that's what happened. What were one of the adjustments they made? Yesterday, Steve Kerr and his coaching staff decided to say, yeah, you know what? AD absolutely dominated us in game 1. He had 30 points and I think 23 rebounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 4 out there that can stretch the floor. So what they did was they put out, instead of keeping Draymond Green at the 4, they put Draymond at the 5 and then added another shooter, a stretch 4 by John Michael Green, and putting him at the 4 spot. Now forcing Anthony Davis to come out of the paint, creating more lanes to attack the basket, kick out, and get to other shooters. And John Michael Green finished that game, I believe, with 15 points, hitting 3 of his 3-pointers. He went 3 of 6 in the game, right? Draymond Green was also aggressive, and these other guys. So what happened at the end of the game? The Golden State Warriors end up winning that game by 30 points. Anthony Davis only has 11 points, and I believe on, let me just verify this. Anthony Davis finishes that game with, let me just get this right, 11 points on 11 shots. And of course, in typical fashion, the media decided there must be somebody to blame. And who's that person that we're going to blame for this loss? We're going to blame Anthony Davis. I was listening to ESPN First Take, and Stephen A. Smith, when it was his time to talk, I mean, he absolutely obliterated AD. And I thought a lot of what he said was, frankly, disrespectful about Anthony Davis. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's a sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say here about Anthony Davis today on First Take. And then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what he had to say there.
As I started out on the show saying, I'm pretty damn exhausted. That's bad news for most people who are watching, because that means that my tolerance level is 0. I'm not playing games today. Wendy, you're wrong. For the first time. Flat out wrong. Anthony Davis was straight garbage last night. Let's just call it what it is. Straight garbage, okay? I mean, he was so bad, sanitation workers might not want to go near him, and that's their job, to take out garbage. That's how bad he was. Now let's understand something
Really?
here, and it's the damn truth. We gonna say it today, okay? Because I ain't got patience, not when I'm tired. Here's the deal, y'all. It's not about what you said, Wendy, because I get your point, and you're not wrong about that. But did you see how LeBron James came out in the first quarter? He was ready. The fact of the matter is, if Anthony Davis was ready like that, they would have had a legitimate shot to go up 2-0 in this series. But he wasn't ready to play. Now, I pointed this out on several occasions because it's absolutely crazy. In odd numbers games, 1, 3, 5, and then again in game 1 of this series, Anthony Davis is averaging 28.5 points and 17 rebounds on 55% shooting. In even number games, 2, 4, 6, and then game 2 of this series, this man is averaging 13 points and 10 rebounds on 40% shooting from the field. Okay? You got 32 different players who've scored 20 points in back-to-back games this postseason. 32 players who've scored 20 points in back-to-back games this season. 20 points or better. Anthony Davis is not one of them. And we all know that when Anthony Davis is on the court and Anthony Davis is playing his game, he's easily a top 7 player in the world as far as I'm concerned. The issue in question is, what is the problem with you continuously not being able to show up in back-to-back performances, particularly in the postseason where there are no back-to-back games? That is a problem. We all know this. And so we can point to the Lakers and you got 2 games at home coming up and games 3 and 4, whatever. But it doesn't negate the fact that the effort that you put forth was freaking inexcusable. It was embarrassing. Okay? It was so embarrassing. I think that Anthony Davis should have had a hard time sitting next to LeBron James. LeBron James is going on 39 years of age. He's in his 20th season in the National Basketball Association. And after game 1, he came out there in game 2 and gave you a chance. He showed he was ready, and you showed him he was standing by his damn self. Now, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. So as we sit here today listening to Perk, listening to Wendy, and put them both up on the screen because I'm tired of looking at myself. Damn it, I said I was tired, okay? Put them up on the screen. The fact of the matter is this. At the end of the day, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, if you're Laker Nation, I'm going to say it. It's time to make Anthony Davis uncomfortable. It's time to make him uncomfortable walk these damn streets of Tinseltown. It's time to make him uncomfortable walking the street in it's hot weather because the weather's supposed to be getting better this weekend and stuff like that. You got a game Saturday. You got a game Monday. It's time people getting his ass. Enough's enough. You can't sit up there and play like that. This is not about the Lakers losing game 2. This is about his performance, which was, a flagrant dereliction of duty. This brother didn't show up at all. And he left LeBron James hanging. You're the Los Angeles Lakers. You Laker Nation. You want to win this series. You got to call this brother out because he's too great. Anthony Davis, you are too great. In your sleep, you can score 11 points. In your sleep.
So you heard Stephen A. Smith's comments. Here are my thoughts. This is beginning to become disgusting. The way the NBA is covered right now is a problem, especially with the Lakers. The issue is there must always be somebody that needs to be blamed. We can't even sit down and learn something about that game and analyze it and ask the question, well, wait a minute. The Lakers lost, but they lost game 2. They won game 1. What did the Golden State Warriors do better this time? Why don't we sit back and understand what did the Golden State Warriors do? And I think maybe an understanding that we'll understand why certain players didn't perform as well as they did the game before. Stephen Curry finished that game. If I'm not mistaken, he finished that game and he only attempted 12 shots. He only attempted 12 shots. So what, Stephen Curry is a bum? Is this what you're telling me? He only attempted 12 shots in that game. So all of a sudden, what, Stephen Curry's a bum? I'm trying to understand something like this. The Lakers put out a game plan, and their game plan was, we're going to double Stephen Curry, which they did. So Stephen Curry said, you know what? I'm not going to force the issue. I'm going to beat them with the pass. And it was one of the reasons the Golden State Warriors coaching staff decided to put out another shooter on the floor. This is just basic strategy in basketball. So it forced the Lakers to make an adjustment, which they couldn't. Now, on the part of Anthony Davis, it's quite simple The answer is very simple as to why AD didn't perform well. Why didn't AD perform well? The reason Anthony Davis didn't perform well was simply because AD was not in the flow of the offense. LeBron was. And I think that was what the Golden State, I think Golden State understood. We would rather have LeBron beat us than AD beat us. Because the havoc that AD wreaks is much greater than the havoc that LeBron can wreak. Why? What am I talking about? Anthony Davis has been the Lakers' best two-way player this entire playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Anthony Davis is averaging over 4 blocks per game in these playoffs. 4 blocks. He's been their best two-way player. So they understood that, hey, let's ensure that AD doesn't beat us. We're going to actually now put Draymond Green on him to cover him. And let's force other players to beat us. And that's exactly what they did. That's number one. Number two, Anthony Davis attempted 19 shots in game 1. 19 shots. Stephen Curry attempted 24. But in game 2, he attempted 12. So is Stephen Curry a bum all of a sudden? Well, no, that would be a ridiculous thing to say, which is one of the main reasons I am sick of these people now trying to throw Anthony Davis under the bus. Because the question is AD a good player or is he a bad player? Because the moment you answer that question, you're forced to shut up. Nobody wants to clarify this answer, give a clear answer on this. If AD is a good player, then you understand that there were other things at play. He was totally out of the flow of the offense. That's number one. Number two, is Anthony Davis a guard? Does AD bring up the floor and then pass himself the ball and get to work? No. I think that's becoming upon the coach and the ball handlers of that team to ensure that Anthony Davis gets the ball. But if AD is not in a rhythm and not in a flow, how is he supposed to do that? Now, some people will say, well, AD, it's his fault that he's not in the flow. Then you don't know a damn thing about basketball. So LeBron is the hot hand, and they're going to go away from LeBron in the first half to ensure that AD gets a hot hand? What are we where does that even happen in basketball? Where does that even happen? It was the Lakers team for not getting Anthony Davis into the flow. He was already out of a flow because LeBron he was the one scoring all of the points in the first half. He had 21 points. But the most disgusting part is that these same people that were praising AD, twerking it up for him after game 1, are the same ones turning around 48 hours later and calling him a scrub. I don't get you dudes. I don't get you dudes. You guys are oversimplifying what's happening. And this is what JJ Redick was talking about on First Take. He said this is agenda-driven media. Narrative-based. We can't even analyze the game. Fans are now becoming, it's like fans have lost the ability to analyze basketball games now. It's all based on the emotional swings. And that's primarily how the Lakers are covered. There always has to be a storyline. How about the Golden State Warriors made some good, made some good adjustments and they won the game? Or did you think that the Golden State Warriors are going to be swept? Nobody in their right mind thought that. And the Golden State Warriors expect them to run that same lineup in game 3 until the Lakers make an adjustment. They double Stephen Curry. He finished the game with 12 assists. And he was still able to have an impact on the floor. Now that Klay Thompson went off, and I'm assuming the Lakers are like, we're going to have everybody else beat us but Steph Curry. They're probably going to have a gamble and say, okay, we're going to double him again, and let's see if Klay Thompson can do it again. This is all strategy. But these guys are analyzing basketball like children. It's ridiculous, and I think it's quite ironic that somebody like me who's been very tough on AD over the last few years, for me to be coming up here defending this guy. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. People are like, well, look at the stat sheet. Look at the stat sheet. He only took a look at the 11. Did you watch the game, bro? Stephen Curry took 10 less shots in game 2 than he took in game 1. So is Stephen Curry a bum? It would be idiotic to say that, and it's just as idiotic to say that Anthony Davis is a scrub. You guys are lost with your analysis. Lost. I don't care if I'm the only one on the mountain saying it. There was a lot more going on than just, he wasn't aggressive. When Kawhi scored 38 in game 1 against the Phoenix Suns, They gave him single coverage. Then they changed that. He had 31. He had less points. So is Kawhi Leonard a scrub all of a sudden? Well, no. This is ridiculous at this point, and I got to state my opinion. These are my thoughts.